The well itself is such a pivotal part of this project. It was our biggest constraint. We wanted to really find a way to also make it the biggest asset, the most beautiful, the most special part of the house. I think it's something that we try and do in all of our projects, is find a thing or even a few things that really make a place unique, special. I'm Chris Major from Welsh Major, and we're the architects for Argyle Well. This house is located on Gadigal lands in a place called Cove or Miller's Point, which is in Sydney, New South Wales. This place is a really significant place for the Gadigal people. It overlooks Sydney Cove and it's adjacent to Talawalada, which is the rocks. So when our clients first came to us for this house, the house was actually in a really bad state of repair. It was 7 different apartment units and it hadn't been maintained very well at all. So they wanted to transform the place into their home and also create something special. They had a vision that this house could come back to its former glory, but also be more than that it could be a place for their future lives. When you walk in from the street, you're actually on the middle level. The first room you come across is one of the more traditional rooms of the house, the sort of formal dining room where we did a lot of restoration work. This room didn't even have a ceiling when we first started on the project. So all of the cornices have been rerun in situ in wet plaster, the timberwork restored, the fireplace is restored. The next room you come to on the right-hand side is a space that we've converted into a kitchen. It's not a traditional kitchen. The last thing we wanted to do was fill the space with standard kitchen joinery. So instead we've approached it by thinking about the kitchen as a series of objects, sculptural objects within the room. The main one of which is the centrepiece of the marble bench, a spectacular mint green marble that just seemed to speak to the space. Going up the stairs, you go into the formal parts of the original terrace. The front room that faces the street is the grandest room in the house. The space and the proportions speak for themselves and just act as a backdrop to the furniture that's placed within that room. So next to the principal formal room on the first floor is a smaller room that's got a lovely aspect looking out over the harbour. This is designed as a really flexible space. In that flexibility, it also has a little ensuite pod. Again, this is designed as a sculptural object within the space. We didn't want to build in a room within a room because it would destroy the proportions of the original room. But the pod is fun. It's got a beautiful curved, fluted glass screen sitting on a Corian base. Beyond that, going up into the attic is the master bedroom. It's a space where you can retreat to from the busy life of the house. It's a very intimate space and it has this beautiful view out to the harbour in one direction and up to Observatory Hill in the other. That space also has been restored, but not in a traditional way. It's been explored to be a contemporary space within the original terrace house. The ceiling beams were exposed and read as a beautiful feature within the ceiling, and the plaster above that just disappears, giving additional height and volume to the space. So coming down from the entry level, we're going down into what would have originally been the service areas of the house. These have beautiful sandstone walls that we didn't know were there originally. They were all covered up. So in taking out the covering walls, we've exposed the sandstone, restored it, and really used it to be a feature of these spaces. A small guest room, study that also is a lovely art space, gallery space, and then a bathroom, again, using that idea that the bathroom is composed of sculptural pieces, in this case, constructed out of beautiful white quartzite. You walk through the house and you discover room by room, and we loved the idea that these rooms would be slightly different. They would all have their own character. And that becomes particularly important when you go from the old part of the house to the new part of the house. The stairwell that connects the two is sort of quite discreet. It's hidden. It feels like you're going down into a cellar, down into the ground. It's carved out of the bedrock. And then you turn around that stair to move towards the pavilion, and it opens up and becomes light-filled and green. And you see the well in front of you. You experience the skyline beyond. I love that sense of exploration and surprise that you get moving from one space to the next. Within the original terrace, we've chosen materials to be contemporary and luxurious, but have a bit of a nod back to the heritage of the house. Using marble, using the Tasmanian blackwood timber, using finishes that refer back to the stone base of the house and the land that it sits on. The new part of the house is all about connecting with the earth. So we wanted this to feel heavy. We wanted to feel like it was part of the garden, part of the earth, sitting really into the site rather than hovering above. Between that design requirement and also the practicalities of building into the ground, we have constructed a concrete pavilion. The concrete's got a beautiful tactile and sculptural quality to it. It allowed us to have a really reduced material palette. We didn't want too much going on, so concrete, stone on the floor, Tasmanian blackwood on the walls. And that was really all we needed, because the space, the well, the garden beyond speak for themselves. I think this project has been a real journey for us as a practice. We love working with original buildings. We think that keeping original buildings, whether they are heritage buildings like this one or more run-of-the-mill everyday buildings, is really important from a sustainability perspective. But also we love the idea that we take something and make it better. This idea that there is potential in everything, that we can explore ideas, that we can find solutions that are not obvious but beautiful, and that keeps us going. That's the thing that sort of challenges us and keeps us exploring.